Started the recording. This is our design 301. Here we are. We're in the lecture. It's Thursday, October 21st, and we are on a Google Meet. And we're just working on complete drawings, and I kind of showed them yesterday. So I thought I would just start doing some drawings, and you can watch and get some ideas on how to approach doing drawings. I did an architectural, a civil, so now I'll do a mechanical. Those are our main three, and when I'm done with this one, I'll go ahead and jump over to one of the other ones. So I do not need to do this cool 3D thing. I just need a top view, a front view. I need a title block. I need dimensions. And that will be pretty much it. In Design 302 and some of the other classes, we start getting into more about title blocks like revisions and notes and bill of materials and all that kind of stuff. But this will just be a good basic drawing. So I need some layers. So I type DC to get my design center up, and I go get layers. Of course, I could want to look at my open drawings of my resource file. There's my layers. And I'll probably, I see something that looks like a centerline layer there. I may or I may not use that. I always like to have construction lines and depth points. I always like dimensions. And since this is mechanical, the object goes on the geometry layer. I see some hidden lines, so I'll do hidden layer. I don't see any text right now, but you know, it's odd not to have text in there somewhere too. So that's a good start. And then this, I think, since it's just two views, will go on an A size sheet if I scale it. So I'm going to do that so I can show you how to do it right. So there's my mechanical A size, and I'll get rid of the other ones just because. So now I think I'm ready to start my drawing. And I see a bunch of circles, but I'm going to do some construction lines because these circles lay on lines that are a given amount apart. So if I go to my construction layer, I can go over 3 in one direction, and I want to go straight sideways. 3 in that direction. 5.25 to the right, and then I come back 1.6. So now I have this point, this point, this point, and this point, and I can draw a bunch of circles. So now I'm ready to go into my geometry line. And this one gives me a diameter. It's hard for you guys to see it on the screen, so I'll just tell you what they are. But this one says diameter 3.25, so I'll go to my diameter button. 3.25. And then this one doesn't really tell me. This is poorly done, but the information is there. That should say diameter 4.5, and it really ought to be shown over here. So that's a diameter of 4.5. And then this one has a diameter of 1. And over here, it's hard for me to tell, but it's 1.13 across this circle. And I can draw a circle and some lines and trim. So I'm over here going to put a diameter of 1.13. So I think I can get everything off of this off of this top one, and then I can draw these things on the bottom. So now I've got a radius of 1 over here. Radius of 1. And a radius of 1.13. So, oh, and these copy over that 1.16. There. I got all the circles done. All the circles kind of done. And I see it's kind of easy to get started with some of these straight line things. So let me do that. Let me draw some straight lines. And that's from the quadrant. The quadrant is the top. Oops. There we go. Quadrant. Tops and sides of circles. So from top of the circle to top of the circle, top of the circle to top of the circle, bottom of the circle to bottom of the circle, and bottom of the circle to bottom of the circle. And I got a little sloppy there. That's what I love about AutoCAD is I can get rid of stuff. Now it's trim, 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 trim. That looks like it. That is so cool. Now I've got the one tricky part. It's hard to tell where this hits. But if I look at the one down here, this line right here is this line. See, it's that line right there when I look at it in the front view. And it does not reach the quadrant. And it goes past the quadrant here. So it must meet at what's called a tangent. I can actually do that. I can draw a line from the tangent. I'm going to do shift right click to pick tangent of this circle to tangent of this circle. And it really does go in there just perfect. Tangent means that it comes right, kissing right by it. And I can do the same thing over here from tangent of this circle to tangent of this circle. Because I see the same thing over here. Now, I have two choices. I've got a mirror line, and I can mirror those two, or I could do that all over again. I think I'll do the mirror command just so I can practice as many commands as possible. So mirror those two objects about this line, and there we go. Erase. No. And I think I have some trimming to do over here now. So there's my object. There's the object. So now I need to draw this front view, and I have to remember that things line up. Things line up. So I know something has to line up with that, the end, and something has to line up with the other end. And something has to line up with these circles over here. and on the inside with these circles. So these are all things that things are going to line up on. And the only line that goes all the way is this bottom one. So I can draw that one. I can do that one really easy from end to end. And then it says I go up 1.5. We go up 1.5. I just typed it in. And then I go over until it hits, and I'll just say perpendicular, the end of this thing right here. And then I see it comes down, up 0.75, down 0.75, would leave this 0.75. So I'm going to come downward 0.75. Now here's the tricky part. I didn't bring a line down from these endpoints yet. Let me do that. I'm going to copy this one from, I'm going to find this endpoint. There it is right there. That's that tangent point. And there's the other tangent point. And so I know that there's a line from this tangent point at the same height as that over to this tangent point. See how I got that weird thing? Found the end of this line and I projected it. Oh, but I went to the wrong one. There we go. And now I get some more. This is 2.25 up. 2.25 up. There it is. Let me turn on my line weights. And you can see this little part right here has to go away. I tend to trim things as soon as I notice them. I'm going to put my perpendicular snap on because I need it. So now I need to do that same weird thing that I did here. See, I'm using my endpoint command. This one's going to start right there. There, how cool is that? Now I have how far down to draw. And of course I know I go from there over and down. Now I have all my object lines drawn. I'm just missing some hidden lines, which I'm not going to really see as a difference, but you'll see in a moment. That one's a hidden line. That one's, what's up with my hidden line? No, it's okay. I'm going to turn my line weights off. It'll show better. I've got another hidden line here and here. Let me change my hidden line to a different color that you can see better. And then I've got a hidden line here and here, because those are holes, and I know they exist, but I can't see them from the outside. And I see that I took this one to the wrong one. Something looks wrong, doesn't it? That's why I like to leave my lines in there. That looks a lot better. There, now I got all my lines lined up. And if I want to turn them off, that looks like the part. That's really cool. Now, I can put my center lines in here or on my layout, and I'm going to choose to do them on my layout. So here we go. I have the part drawn. So I remember I go to my depth points layer. Yes, Cynthia. Go ahead. And I'm not able to hear you. Okay, well, we'll come back. I'm not able to hear you right now, Cynthia. So if you can get that fixed up, we'll figure it out. Or you can type it in the chat. But I'm going to put in my little rectangular thing, and I'm only going to go this far. If I bring it down here, I might get my part over the title block. So I'm just going to bring it to there. And I got to kind of get it at the right size. So remember that we go and we activate the model. And look, it's almost 0.5. And I don't want it to be almost. I want it to be. That's 1 equals 2. And I can move it. Okay, so that's a good question. Why would I choose to do it on the layout versus the model? The main reason is I might use this model over and over again for different purposes in my drawing, and then I'd always see all that writing every time I bring it up, and I'd have to fix it. So that's one reason. The other reason is when I export my model to a machine tool, if there are any extraneous layers in there, then the machine tool might accidentally run out of control on a line that you don't want it to. So, and really and truly these days, that doesn't happen that much. But I got taught these drawing principles in the times of when people actually had to program the CNCs, and mistakes could get done when you just imported your drawing. So that's really why. The other reason is when you do put it on the piece of paper, I'd always have to be fiddling with the size of my text so that when I shrink it down, it's the right size. So like if I wrote something on here 1/8 of an inch tall, when I come over here, it would only be a 1/16 inch tall and I couldn't see it. So those are some of the reasons that I use. Cool. All right, that was a good question. So now I'm going to go ahead and put those markers in, and I can see from annotation, let's see if I can find it. Nope, I have to go to my annotate bar, and there's my center mark. And I pick the bigger circle, click, and I got that center mark. Isn't that cool? And click, and click, and click. Oh, boy, I used to do that by hand, and it was so hard. Always have to do that. So that's using the center mark. Now these other ones, I can click in between two lines, and there's that center mark. So there's my center line. Now this one's a little bit harder. This one isn't going to quite work right. So this one I have to kind of draw. Or I have to temporarily offset. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to copy this. There we go. And those are technically a little too long, but I don't mind that too much. There we go. And this one doesn't show like that, and that's okay too. Now, if I really want to, I can fix this up by drawing a line here, offsetting the line 1/8. That's how far it's supposed to overlap. Oop. Offset 1/8. And I'm taking more care than you really need to. And then I can trim. Oh, it's not going to let me trim that one, huh? Have to do it with the grips. And then I'll get rid of my extra line. So now I've got the geometry all set. So I can put in my dimensions as best as I can here. So I see a linear dimension from there's my 3. Oh, look, I want XX. When I do this, I need to pick my current one. Thought I brought that in. Maybe I didn't. For my dim styles, I better get one that's 2 decimal places for mechanical. And I was just in the wrong spot. There we go. Let's do that again. Design center. So I can set that one to be current, and I can put in go. There we go, 3.00 and 5.25. I want it to line up. and then a 1.6. Yeah, they're just coming into place. Now I have to come up here and find a radius. So that's what you're going to do. And I like to get those to kind of line up. If I can, like that. Need to move it away. That's a little confusing. Have it there. It needs to actually get up here a little bit more. This needs to be away from this line a little bit. Okay, so that's what you're going to keep doing. And then, of course, you'll adjust your drawing title. Now, if I do my snip right now, that's okay. I get all of my colors and all of that kind of stuff. But your best thing to do is your print preview. Because then you'll see okay, but I didn't get it set quite right. Usually when we print a mechanical drawing, it's on grayscale or monochrome. There we go. Now I've got my print correct, and as I look at it, I can get as big as I can so that my snip works really well. And I don't remember what this one is called. This is mechanical. There we go. And I forgot I was going to set my background to be that horrible, awful thing. So let me go back and set my workspace. And I should do the same thing for my sheet layout. And you won't do that, just I'll do that. Yours should look nice. Okay, any questions about the mechanical one? And so I better save it. Okay, then let's go ahead and go on to another one. Just go back one step, and I'll do the interior design. Now this one is going to need to be, this one I'm going to need to do a snip. Let me get it as big as I can so that my snip is as good as I can make it. There we go. And this is going to go on to a detail, so let me just make sure that it's kind of a reasonable size. Well, that's 28 inches, so that's huge. So if I cut that in half, that would be 14. And if I cut it in half again, That would probably be a reasonable detail size. Eight. So if I cut it down even just a little bit more, it'll fit on my sketch pretty well. Okay. So I'll probably need thick and thin, and I'll have to play with some colored layers and stuff like that. So I've got like neutral, phase. That's probably supposed to be ground. Kind of a weird drawing. But let me put some stuff in here. So for my layers, definitely thick, definitely thin, text. Def points, probably a construction. Let's see if I can get by with that. So I've got some things. I've got mostly stairs, and nothing has to be really that great on these stairs. And you know what I'm going to do though? I'm going to put in an image layer, and I'm going to teach you something new about that. Image. And I'm going to place this. I'm going to place my image on the image layer. And then I'm going to look at its properties. You've done this before. And make it transparent. Now I'm going to do something else. I'm going to lock that layer. And I'm going to click on it, right click, and I'm going to do its draw order and send it to the back so that it's always behind everything that I draw. And then if I lock that, lock it, it'll always stay behind. You know how sometimes it pops in front? This will make it always stay behind. That's kind of cool. Okay, so time to start doing some drawing. These look like they're on the thick layer. And I should have this on. And, you know, I don't need to get them exact. If I wanted to, at this point, I might draw kind of like a rectangle. And then copy, 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 copy. Or I might just do that copy, copy, copy now. So they're always the same. And just, I'm going to realize that since those aren't perfect and mine aren't perfect, it might come out off just a little bit. But it'll be good enough for what we're trying to achieve. If I hold the shift down, it toggles, which is really cool. So I've got that shape. Now I need my door shape, which I'm going to estimate. And I'll go nearest. Offset some amount through. Now I just got a couple of these to do. And I don't need to make, every little bevel and things like that. Oh, how did I offset without the distance figure? Let me show you. So if I want to offset one of these, I can type offset, and then it comes up with something called through, which says it'll offset through wherever my mouse tells it. If I type T for through, select it, wherever my mouse goes. See how it's going through the cursor? So that's how it does it. That was a good question. I'm going to go ahead and put this in. I'm not going to make it too fancy. I'm just going to leave it like that. Call that good enough. Okay, so now I've got a door. And I think if I mirror that door, I'd have that one. So let me mirror my door. I don't care where I mirror it. Oh, I always do that. I hit escape instead of enter. There. That looks, oh, I got this piece on there by accident. That's the beauty of AutoCAD. You can fix accidents really quick. One, two, C, one, two. Let's see if this thing works. This might be really cool or it might not. I'm going to try something out here. I'm going to make those into donuts. Remember that donut command? Donut. That's too big. So I may have to change those properties. Man, I don't know what. I got clicking all over everything here. This is just not going easy. That's a little easier. Okay, so now I have an arc. And then the rest are all just kind of straight lines. So now I've got some text. Now, I think when I mirror this, our system is set up to leave these letters alone. Let's see. Isn't that cool? So that's something that they did a few years ago. There we go. And now my last thing, and of course, you can put all this stuff in here too, but I know we need to do a hatch. It'll probably be solid. Color will be somewhat of a brownish thing. And you can change that a bit if you want. You can make it a little bit more on the brown side. There we go. And then you've got the rest of the writing to do. Okay, so now I'm going to turn that layer off. I know there's more to do on it, but let's go to our design center and find a layout. And I think it'll be the maybe an architectural A. Let's go architectural A this time. And again, I like to delete extra layouts. And it's really just so that it's keep from confusing some of the people that will be reading this. And I think I remember I need to go to my depth points layer, click my layout tab, and put a rectangular layout in. Now, this really does truly have no scale. So I can just, but 1-to-1 looks like I'll be pretty close to a nice, reasonable drawing. So that won't hurt anything to do to get it at a, but these are meaningless because I didn't draw this to any scale. Okay. Oh, and you want some hatch in here too, right? I forgot about that hatch. And I think it's kind of concretey or sand looking. Either concrete or maybe the sand would look good there. Something that's already in here. Yeah, I think those would be. And look, I can hardly see any dots. So I can change the scale. That looks good. And probably change the color too. Maybe a little darker than that. Looking pretty cool. So I'll switch out of my model again. So I'm on my paper. And I'll type in my title. And for scale, really and truly, you should type none. So people don't try to measure this thing. It'd be a mistake to measure it. And again, I'm going to go to my print preview to get my snip. Okay. And the print preview, you notice, does not bring your background forward because I didn't ask it to. This is interior. Isn't that the coolest stuff? So there's another 2 for you. If you want to do one of the others, I want to let some people have a chance to do some of them on their own. But that's 4 out of the 6 that you can choose from that you've got a little bit of a view. Again, it's all just about making complete drawings, following some sort of standards. I know when you're tracing, you're just kind of like tracing. You would trace the rest of this, right? I'm just showing you a partial one. You would need to get the phase and the neutral and the two-way switching and the wires, and it would be good to make them the right colors. And then you'd be in pretty good shape. You don't need to draw the light bulb very well. You need something because that's showing that it's going to a light bulb, but that doesn't need to be great. You could literally just draw something like this. And you could just call that light bulb or load. If you want to draw the light bulb, that's really cool. That shows how the wiring goes. This is I've never heard this called phase and neutral. I've heard it hot. But I guess you could do that as phase because if you come in with a 220, oh, I see why, because they're at 220 volt. So they're coming off of one of the phases of the 220. I got it. That's okay. That's cool. I can see that. Not very common. That symbol. Oh yeah, it says 50 hertz. You're right. So this must be from something from Europe, right? Must be something from Europe. The at symbol for the light. Yeah, you could do that. That would actually work out pretty cool. All sorts of good stuff you can do on there. At this point, it's just getting information across, right? That doesn't look too bad. Okay. That's what we've got for this week. I'm just looking forward to seeing these. I believe, let's take a real quick look at what happens next. Industry choice drawing, step number 1. You have 2 weeks to get that done. And I'm going to load up a bunch of samples for you, sort of like this one, but you're going to work entirely within one industry. So let's say you choose landscape. You'll do 3 or 4 landscape drawings. If you choose interior design, you'll choose 3 or 4 interior design drawings. Oh, there you go. Pretty cool. And so, Cynthia, did yours come out pretty much the same? Did it come out? Did it come out pretty close? Yep, good. That's what I like to hear. That's cool. And so, then when you get to industry choice number 2, you'll either be able to take those 3 or 4 drawings to a higher, more complex, not higher level, more complex level, or you can try a different industry. Okay, so if you just really want to focus on the industry that you're interested in, you'll get a chance to do more with it, make it more complex. Okay, and then eventually you get 3 weeks for that one, because this week is Thanksgiving, and I ain't starting a new one right there. And when you come back, we do preview of advanced stuff, and then it's your portfolio. So you guys have now, in my book, in my consideration, you have learned everything that there is for this class. You learned what you're supposed to learn. The rest of it is getting comfortable, getting fluent, getting fast, getting accurate. It's just practicing and doing it within the industry that remembering how and within the industry that you're most interested in. Okay. Any questions before we log off for the week? All right, then. Great work. I'm going to stop the